I'll be documenting my travel from Japan to Hawaii and Hawaii back to Japan. Hope this will help all of you that's going to be traveling in the future. Check it out.
Right back down, but your love lifts me back to solid ground.
Okay, it's June 24th, 2021, and currently, if you had your vaccine in Hawaii, traveling to Hawaii from the mainland US, you don't need a PCR test. The only thing is I'm coming from Japan, so it's not a direct flight, so there's a layover in Seattle, so I figured that the layover, since I'm originating from Seattle, from the Seattle to Hawaii leg, I wouldn't need a PCR test. So there's two, in Japan there's two PCR tests. There's one for the mainland and there's one for Hawaii. So we're debating on what to do because the last leg we go into Hawaii is from Seattle. So we decided to just be safe and get the Hawaii PCR test because it also is valid to go into Seattle. So I'm gonna see when I travel if I didn't need to take the Hawaii one because our last leg is from Seattle to Hawaii. So that's what this video is going to be about. Here we are at the T-Care clinic. We came to pick up my test. This is one of the trusted partners for Hawaii. So we're going to pick up our PCR tests here on the way to the airport. Okay, just came from the clinic, picked up our COVID test. It's negative. So got my COVID test from a trusted Hawaii partners to fly into the States, into Hawaii. So here we are now at Haneda Airport. Super empty. Like a ghost town. Still like a ghost town here. The travel is still pretty good. It's still relatively empty. Yeah, so just arrived in Seattle, and for Seattle I put on the N95 because there's a lot more people here.
We're ready, we're coming.
So just got into Hawaii. I'm at Honolulu Airport. I didn't even need to show my PCR test. I just showed them my vaccination and they just let me go right through. So coming from Seattle, although I am coming from Japan, I needed a COVID test just to get into Seattle. And from Seattle to Honolulu, my vaccination card was all I needed. Okay, to leave Hawaii now, what I did is I like to make an appointment at Doctor's Waikiki. They get your COVID test out with doctor's signature within a half an hour. So I like to come here. So I actually leave tonight, but I made the appointment for this morning. And this is a good place to go. $314 though. Okay.
You've had this test before?
Yeah, many times.
Okay. I'll be as quick as I can. Okay. All right, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
10 minutes and $314 later, I have my negative COVID test and I'm ready to go back to Japan tonight. From Hawaii going to Seattle, there was absolutely no need for a COVID test nor vaccine. They didn't even take my temperature. I'm wearing an N95 because there's so much people here. Just staying safe. Okay, so you have to fill out this customs full declaration form they'll give you. So they're going to be giving out this form. It's a lot of details, information on the quarantine, some barcodes to download stuff, a little questionnaire here for information. You're going to have to fill this out, agreeing to all the quarantine, to downloading 2 apps, one for location app and one for your contact confirmation app. There's also, I think, is a new one. We haven't had it before. Video calling. I wonder if they're going to call us on video. also have to make sure that you scan this barcode and follow the instructions. Choose a language, you can choose English and answer all the questions. And when you do and complete it, you get a barcode like this. And you need to present this barcode to the immigration when you get in.
As soon as we got out of the airplane, they're checking all our paperwork and probably the QR code. And it's actually a pretty long walk to the quarantine testing. It's a COVID testing center. So when you're done with this, showing all your documents, you go on to the next area, show more documents. I accumulated my spit, so I think this should be enough. Here they collect your sample, turn in your sample to them. After you drop off your spit, you go to the next section. Set everyone down and see that. And what they're doing is they're making them put in the apps for the tracking and stuff. So if you don't download those apps, they won't let you in. Not that crowded. So we gotta put in all the apps. That down and put in all the apps. And now we gotta do like a document check now. After I go there and get that other check. Now there's a place for another document check here. Another one. What the fuck? So I'm thinking this would be the last check. Looks like another document check. Okay. Just finished that last process here in that room. Now going over to the waiting area to get our PCR results. These guys are guys from the Olympics. So they're either, these guys are put on the side, they're either from the Olympic people or Olympic staff. But they bypass a lot of the procedure. So much walking. I'm like sweating already. So far, I got all the masks. I got my N95 on underneath my mom's mask. Ooh, wonder how much more. Every time I come in, they're changing the procedure a little bit. There's another check. So it seems like this is the last place. This is where we're gonna wait for results, and then our number is called. Our number is gonna come up on that screen. We just wait in this room. 287. Now I gotta go to the corner. So this is where you get your results. So this is where you get your results if it's positive or negative. So we get one of these. Once you get one of these, you go back to where you came from. So we got more walking to do. Damn. Good workout. My workout for the week. Okay. Walking back the way I came. Appreciate it. so we're walking back. And guess now it's done and they're just going to immigration now. Jesus. That's the procedure. It took about an hour 40 minutes. I'm pretty sure depending on how many planes arrive at the time you're coming in, this might take longer. This is new questionnaire on where you've been before going to the immigration counter.
Okay, so the whole process to show your COVID test and get out of the airport, it took about 2 hours from getting off the plane, going through all the stations to show your COVID test, all the paperwork. They pretty much checked the paperwork like over and over, like 4 or 5 times. Then there was a section where you did the spit test. Then you had to go show papers again, and then you had to go to waiting area to get your result. You get your result, then you go to your immigration. At immigration, the fucked up thing is I asked them about the Olympic people from the Olympics. They have hundreds and hundreds of people coming in, and they're trainers, athletes, doctors, mascots, whatever. Anybody associated with the Olympics. There was a bunch of people coming in when I was coming in. They had a different line that made them process a little faster, a little easier. And the screwed up thing I found out, I asked the immigration officer while I was waiting in line if the Olympic people had to quarantine. And he said, yes, they do, but it's a very short quarantine. So we have to quarantine for 14 days. Don't know what they mean by short quarantine. I don't know if it's 10 days or 5 days, but I think it's kind of screwed up that, the Olympic people are not going to quarantine as long as the normal people. It's not like the Olympic people won't be able to spread COVID as bad as the normal people. They should have the same quarantine. Kind of scared to see if it's going to spike the numbers because of the Olympics. We'll see. So I hope that was helpful for any of you that are going to be traveling from Japan to Hawaii and Hawaii to Japan. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.